Zevlor's Sleep Stories. Performed by Glenn McCready. Afterwards, a sunrise meditation by Chiro. After everything that's happened, for better or worse, I find myself with more free time than I ever did in the last 2 years. My broken oath freed me from many obligations. Certainly there will always be those who need aid, tasks that need doing, but I've learned to take less upon myself, to take more time to simply walk and reflect. Part of my reflection, per a suggestion from one of the monks who sheltered me afterwards, is to simply allow my feet to carry me where they may, to trust in my own mind to take me where I want to go. And so I find myself here, gazing across the landscape of the Rosy Morn mountain trail. It's where my mind led me. A familiar stretch of beauty, though we couldn't pause to look at it before. I take a deep breath in, hold it, 2, 3, 4. Let it out. There is no before, only now, only this moment. In this moment, everything is calm and safe. I can linger and look and let myself take it all in. The mountains rise all about me. From here, I can see miles of beauty and wonder. I have arrived here fittingly at dawn. The sky flecked with fading glints of stars as it brightens from nighttime indigo to morning's eggshell blue, crowded here and there with great rolling clouds. Beneath the sky I can see the plains unrolling in the distance, a rumpled blanket of landscape, glowing beige in the sunlight. Tiny dots travel in a loose constellation across the fields. Wild horses, probably. I try to picture them. Coats of dusky satin, chestnut and cream and champagne and amber, feathered manes and tails trailing behind as they lope across the endless grassy expanse. I can see 3 rivers shimmering in looping lines across the plains, their waters twinkling as the sun begins to reflect on them. They meander up to the edge of the cliffs and become waterfalls. From here the rivers appear to be tumbling lazily down, in no hurry, and the mist rises just as slowly. The sound of falling water is muted to a quiet background hum. The plains, the rivers, the mountains, all brushed over with the same rosy hue. Even the dusty trail and green leaves seem softened somehow, frosted with the pinkish haze of the early morning sun. The leaves rustle softly as the wind gives them a voice, a quiet susurration that blends in and overlaps the waterfalls. The centerpiece of this splendid view is Lathander's beacon of hope, a truly wondrous monument to the dawn, built into a natural stone column rising out of the river. The blessed star symbol proudly faces the sun, its design elegant and soothing at once. The rising sun shines off the monument, making it appear to glow in the soft, warm dawn. I take a moment and hold that image in my mind. The holy star of Lathander, a god of optimism and hope, a gentle and kind figure, smiling as he greets the world. His star has 8 points. I decide during this journey to look for 8 things that give me hope. The first is easy, the exquisite natural beauty of this mountain pass. If anything, the overgrown plant life has only enhanced the elegance of this ruined temple, as though the monastery is softly insisting that hope is eternal, no matter what may come. That can be the second thing, then, a gentle message from ages gone by, speaking to me today. Before I leave the scenic overlook, I admire the view of the monastery. Even from this distance it can be seen, a vast structure emerging from the overgrown trees, as though it has always been a part of the mountain. The stones of the monastery are the same soft, rosy color of the mountains and the plains, edges only seen by the soft blending of cool shadows and green foliage. The architecture is elegant and soothing, just as the beacon is. As I watch, 2 large eagles leap off the roof, taking to the sky and soaring, wild and proud, across the mountain pass to the plains beyond. A little cable car is nearby. I remember it was a simple contour of rust once, resting like an old soul soaking in the sunshine, with little inclination to ferry about. But it's been repaired since then, looking a bit livelier. A third message of hope, perhaps, that an old and tired thing can come back with a measure of triumph. The walk to the cable car stirs scattered birdsong from avian inhabitants, curious to see what manner of being is strolling through their neighborhood. I don't see many of them up close, only little scurries of flight through the brush, trembling the branches flowered with bright pearls and gems, some plumed with soft feathers of grassy seed heads. Many colors have slipped in from the wild flowers over the years, but there still can be seen many colors saluting the sun: saffron and scarlet, cinnabar and amber, ochre and carmine and primrose and gold. A garden planted with intent, perhaps. Number 4. A garden planted with intent. A jay paints an errant brushstroke of sapphire across the rosy glow. He lands on a nearby branch, a handsome little fellow in his cloak of blue, a jaunty cap of feathers poking up, he grumbles at me low and croaky, and I hear them before I see them, the soft peeping of baby birds. I spare a glance in their direction and see the tiny, fuzzy, smoky grey round heads with wide yellow beaks. I continue past without peering any closer. It's a hard thing to be responsible for tiny lives, and I shan't trouble Papa J any further. Number 5. Harried father figures, trying their best to guide and guard their collection of tiny peepers. I wish him luck and continue to the cable car. The wheel spins easily, and the car moves smoothly, and with only a whisper of noise as the cable guides me across the wide ravine, past the magnificent beacon. The sun is higher in the sky, illuminating more of the mountain pass, which seems almost to be radiant in this light, as perhaps was intended for the Rosy Morn Monastery to be its most beautiful at the first touch of Lathander's gentle and hopeful sunlight. A rustle and then a murmuration across the ravine. A great cloud of starlings emerges with only the softest sigh of sound, briefly dancing and swooping in shifting contours of shape before departing for their daily business. I've never seen a flock of starlings in the morning before. This walk has shown my old eyes a number of new marvels. The cable car lands softly at the far end, and I behold the monastery up close. The stained glass windows catch my attention first, as they've impressed so many over the years. Tall and splendid columns of crimson and scarlet, rays of gold spread over the rounded top. Sunrise depicted on glass. Marble columns absorb the warmth of the dawn, glowing pinkish like all the rest. Mosaic murals still decorate the walls, suns radiant and warm, soft clouds drifting across the peaceful stone. Centuries later, it's still clear that the masons who designed this monastery wanted to convey beauty and love with the building itself, the beauty of a new day, the love of creation, the domain of the Morning Lord. Number 6. The urge to create something beautiful inspired by awe and love. The Morning Lord himself is represented as a statue on the pavilion before the monastery. It seems courteous somehow to pay respects to this god who was so beloved by so many who walked here. The sculpture of him shows a kind face, holding the newborn sun aloft. There are a number of coins and letters and trinkets at the base of the statue, gifts left by pilgrims and worshippers. I reach into my purse for a coin to add to the gifts, as I think over the last 2 things that give me hope. It's been a soothing, meditative exercise so far. I like to think the monks back in Baldur's Gate would be pleased with my efforts. I toss my coin and notice that someone has left a small gift of a ring on a string. It reminds me at once of the little scamps from the group. Ring of the Lecanesus. There's the copper ring gleaming with an appropriate reddish-orange tied to a pebble with a length of fishing line. It's wrapped around a loosely scrolled sheet of paper. "Thanks for the sunrise," scrawled childishly large. Perhaps they've come back here to visit as well. Number 7, then. The hope that the children will thrive. And number 8 can be this. All of this. The dawn. The hope that comes with each new day. I look up to the statue of Lathander, the Morning Lord, radiant as he smiles gently in the dawn. This, then. Thank you for the sunrise.